Hi, friends.
Hi, friends.
We're back for episode 37 of the Brunch and Judge.
Indeed, we're here.
We are working our way up to 40. Woo.
Oh, we should probably introduce ourselves this time. I don't think we did last time.
Yeah, I know. We are so bad, guys. I'm so sorry. Very hit or miss.
Right.
I mean, we do say each other's names usually, so it's not
We do.
fine.
Yeah.
It's fine. But I'm your host, April,
And I'm your other host, Claire.
and we are here to bring you all of the brunching and way more judging. Because as we
Always.
know, the only way to get through the days these days is to judge and to share those judges with those
Indeed.
that you love, which is usually your bestie, because they get you on like an existential level and they understand
100%.
why the thing that you're judging is so important. They get it. They get it.
And why you feel so judgy about it.
Right.
It's true.
Something
Yep.
about 12-hour work days make you very judgy. I don't really know. Crazy.
Indeed.
That's fine. Everything's fine. Everybody's happy.
The world's on fire, but it's all okay.
It's fine. Oh God, that
Yeah.
reminds me. That's hysterical.
Oh, okay.
Fun story from library life. So thankfully, I'm super busy, so I don't really work the desk or answer the phone a whole lot.
Right.
Which is good for everyone, quite honestly. It's better. It's better if you just put me over in like a quiet
Yeah.
corner and just leave me alone. But I was talking to one of my front desk staff yesterday, and she is, by the way, a dream. Like she authentically wants to help people and cares about them and manages them in a way that I would have been like, well, I'm done now, so sorry, bye. You know, like
You're like,
and like
deuces, I'm out.
I'm really nice. Like everyone tells me how nice I am, but like my patience threshold is just
Right.
not that great. And
Same.
so
I feel that.
she is a dream. Um, but she's telling me about someone who had been calling because we have regular people who call the library for lots of things like random questions or
Right.
whatever. And so this particular person is apparently like he doesn't live in the area, but he calls us I think mostly because we answer the phone. Um
Yeah.
and she suspects that he is handicapped in some way, not sure because we
Mhm.
don't know who he is.
Right.
He's again not one of our patrons, just someone who calls. And has in the past like asked for help like finding like group homes or access to certain things that he needs for his own well-being, but apparently he this week he called because he wanted to know what to do because of the impending nuclear war that we're going to have with Russia.
What?
And so he was like, what do I do if
Oh,
my refrigerator,
okay.
if it goes out, like if the power's gone and I don't have a refrigerator? And like she was being super authentically helpful because she was like, well, you can get some dry ice or get ice packs or whatever that can help keep things cool for a while to, before they're able to get stuff back up, if there's some kind of problem, giving like actual helpful tips.
Right.
She was telling me about it and I was like, why didn't you just say, dude, we're close to Russia. If they're nuking anything, we're dead. All right. We're fried. It's
Right.
over. Like, don't even worry about it. And if you survive, don't worry. You'll die quick enough from the radiation. Like, what? Don't worry about your fridge. And I'm like, it's the end of the
Oh
world. Like,
my
I
gosh.
don't, why? What is happening? She just looked at me like, I mean,
Like
she's like, well, you're not wrong, but it's like, I don't think I can say that. And it's like,
she probably
right.
didn't want him to like increase
That's
his
right.
panic. Like we need to
But
try
like,
to like we need to diffuse this situation and not make it any worse.
but I was like, no, we're dead. We're out. Sorry.
We're
West
gone.
Coast, we're gone. Bye. Sorry. It just, that's fine. It's fine. And don't worry, East Coasters. That radiation cloud is gonna come for you too. It's just gonna be a slow
Right.
drift. So you probably won't get cancer till later, but
It's a
that's
slow
fine.
burn.
Literally. Oh God.
Right.
So I
Oh
was
my
just like,
gosh.
fun times at the library this week. Impending doom.
Wow.
Not sure what to do in a nuclear disaster? Hey, don't call the library. They don't really know
That's
either.
right. Go buy some ice packs, apparently.
It's like, all right, whatever.
Oh my gosh.
But I was like, that's a phone call where I probably would have been like, buddy, we're not gonna
Yep.
make it. So, just live life and live, laugh, love,
Our impending nuclear war with Russia. Oh my gosh.
So fun times to the
Right,
libraries this
it's
week.
true.
But anyway,
That's fun.
what are you judging this week, Claire?
I don't know if you've heard, but there were some people that threw some tomato soup on one of Van Gogh's paintings.
Yes.
I'm judging those people. Yeah.
I saw in my, as you know, my general, I read headlines and see the pictures that CNN puts up.
Right,
I
right, right,
saw
right, right.
headline, I saw picture, and I was like,
You're like, wait a
but
minute.
why? I mean, maybe if
And
I had like read the article, there would be more information
right.
as to why people who are it's oil, right? They're mad about oil.
Yeah, they're oil or climate
Right, right.
activists.
Which pro on that team, it's bad, but
Yeah.
I pretty much all I do in my day job is discover all the ways that humanity has fucked up everything. So I'm here for it. We suck. We
Right.
suck hardcore. But like, why Van Gogh's painting?
Well, I don't know if it was like why specifically his, but just in general. So it's members of a group called Just Stop Oil.
Mm-hmm.
And basically they did it to protest saying like um why is art more important than life? That was their protest. Like we take more care in preserving artwork than we do in preserving our own nature
I, f-
and
I
earth.
feel like crazy, crazy. I feel like most of the people who are interested in art and are interested in saving art and taking care of art are probably a lot of the same people that are into saving the planet. And I base that purely on the
Yeah.
demographics of who goes to art museums.
Right.
Just saying tends to be a, quote unquote libtard thing to do. So
Right, right.
I mean,
As the
I'm
people
kind of like,
say.
did you consider like going maybe to like I don't know, like a Trump rally or something and throw your tomato soup there?
I mean, he's the one who
A
like took us out
gun
of what was it?
show?
Right. What was it? What was the thing that he like took us out of?
Right, I want to say it was the Paris Accords, but I don't know if that's actually
That
the right
I think
words.
that
But
might be it. I think that might be it.
uh,
Yeah. Yeah, something like that. Where it was like, "Oh, we don't care about the environment
mhm.
anymore." And it's like, "What are you doing?"
So um,
But anyway, so they threw this soup
uh-huh.
on a Van Gogh the
The
sunflower
sunflower, which by
painting.
the way
Yeah,
is a
in
painting
London.
of what, Claire? Part of the
Plants.
environment?
Plants.
I'm like,
Um, but thankfully the painting was under glass.
yes, okay, it's fine.
So it's fine. But still it's just but why? And then they super glued their hands to the wall and to the painting. And it's like, but why? Like that's also part of their protest.
Well, I guess because then it wasn't as easy to remove them, so
Maybe, I
that
don't
it
know. But
lasted
it's just
longer. But
like
it's the whole like
right.
they chain themselves to the tree, blah blah blah. So
Yes.
like,
But it's just but yeah, I'm up here and I'm like, I agree with you, like as
mhm.
far as, you know, yeah, take that passion, but funnel it differently.
is it
You need to
is it possible? And this is just me. Is it possible that maybe what they're really trying to tell us is that Andy Warhol is the superior artist to Van Gogh, and we don't give him enough appreciation?
Ah,
Because why would
was
you
it
use soup?
Campbell's?
Why would you use the
Was
soup?
it Campbell's tomato
I
soup
don't know, but
though?
it was tomato soup, and that's all you
It
need to
was tomato
know.
soup.
It looked like a Campbell's can in their
This
hand.
might be a dual-ended
Ooh,
protest.
what if this is actually
We're
an art?
anti-oil and pro
What if
Andy
this
Warhol.
is like a an art piece itself?
Oh, like one of those like
performance art things or
yeah,
whatever.
performance art like
Yeah.
installations. Yeah,
Ooh.
that
Ooh.
could be.
Fancy.
Yeah,
All right. Ooh. Okay.
yeah,
We figured it out. That's what
but
it is. It has nothing to do with oil. Although
it's
here's my question. Follow up, because you're the art person. Is Van Gogh's sunflowers, were those oil paintings?
yes,
Oh, so many layers, Claire. The conspiracies abound.
yeah. Most of those older paintings like that, yeah, those were oil paintings.
That's not the oil we're
So
trying to
is
sell.
that
I'm
why? Is
confused.
because it was an oil painting? Is that what we're
I
protesting?
don't know.
Is oil
Like,
painting?
I'm here for like the I'm here for protests. I'm pro protests. I think you can affect change by
Oh
protesting
yeah,
and speaking up and doing things. And I'm even, in the land of sometimes you do something in order to get media attention or whatever, which has happened
right.
in this case. But I prefer it. I mean, personal preference here. I prefer it to be somehow obviously related to the thing in which we're actually concerned about.
Right. Absolutely.
Because we care about art and not the environment is not really,
No.
because I kind of want to be like, maybe it's different because like we're not in Europe and they probably do care about art, but we're in the United States where like no one fucking cares about art.
Right.
I'm sorry. It's like, what? No,
As a whole,
it's like we,
there are
no,
individuals
no,
who
no,
care about art, but
of
like
course.
as a
But like,
majority.
we don't consider that important. We don't focus on it in schools. We don't encourage it. It's not a
Right.
college career path. Like, I mean, that's just not. I would argue there are probably more people who care about the environment than art here, like as a general rule.
Probably
But
so. Yeah,
just
probably so.
so maybe it's just resonating strangely for us across the pond here. But I'm like, what are you even doing? I don't
Like what is
understand
this? Yeah.
what is happening.
Yeah, I'm judging those people because it's like why?
Throw tomato soups at the super
So
expensive
you're
cars, the
mad?
ones that just
Yeah.
stupid make noise, the diesel trucks. Throw tomato soup at them. I
Or
hate
it's like
them.
why so you were anti destroying with, you're just anti destroying something, then
Right.
why are you destroying something else? Like I think that is also like why that doesn't make sense to me.
Yeah, I feel
And
like
how is tossing soup? I mean, I get that it's a protest, but how is
mhm.
tossing soup on 100-year-old painting? How is that going to change anything? Like if you, I mean, because the people in the art museums who run the art museums, those are not the people that you need to get to change their mind
Right.
about how we handle
I was gonna
oil.
yeah.
Like I just like there's so many things about this that are so
I
bizarre
just
and so
I
weird.
feel like if I have to be like raise my hand and be like, I have some follow-up questions, then you've not done
Right.
it correctly. That's all. That's all I'm saying. Just, you know, do better.
Right. Yes. Yeah. Like what are we doing? Like, yeah, stop. Yeah, I am, I'm all for a good protest. But then it's like, but this one, I guess it's just because this one did not make sense to
Yeah,
me
and
at all. It
I
was just like, wait,
authentically assume
what?
that is really why it is made news, is because people are like, they threw soup at a painting because oil.
Right. Yeah, exactly. It made no sense. It was just weird and bizarre and yeah. That's my judge is like, but
Excellent.
why?
That is an excellent
What are we
judge.
doing? I mean, jeez. I'm like, no, no, no. It's Van Gogh though. No.
Well,
Stop.
and it's the sunflowers, like of all of them.
Right?
Why that one?
Yeah.
Whatever. I don't know. We can't understand.
Honestly, for me, and it's just because it's my own personal whatever,
Mm-hmm.
go toss that soup on some Jackson Pollock something. I mean, because I'm
You
like, it's
may.
literally splatters.
I was gonna say
And I
you may
know it's
know.
more than that because I took a stupid class on it
No,
in
but
college.
it is. It is
But
just
it's just
splatters. You
like,
know what?
but
And I
really?
say that because my cats have a fish toy stuffed with catnip that is a pollock. It is a pollock fish, but it's
Yeah, I
splattered
think
on it. And I'm like
yeah,
pollock, and I'm like, yeah, I'm here for
you
this.
sent me a picture of that. I
So,
remember I was like, yes, I'm here for that.
so it is in fact just splatters. You can say whatever you want, but it is what it is. He thought
Right,
about his
right,
splatters, but good for him.
right. Oh my gosh. Anyway,
BTW
so
guys,
yeah.
not an artist or an art critic or anything art at all. That's Claire. Just ask
She's
Claire.
not.
That's not who I am.
She's
That is
not.
not my identity. Sorry. So I'm over here with like the normal like haterade going, you just went with your paintbrush a few times and we're like, it's art. And I'm like,
Because I think there's literally one called like Three Poles or something where it's just like, you know, and it's just, yeah. Because I remember having to like, for those of you who didn't do art in
which is
college,
literally most of us.
I know, right? Um, at least the college program I was in, they would put up slides, these little teeny tiny slides on these light boards that you'd have to cut. You could come down and study because you had to identify them. And she put up like 500, not 500 really. It was more like sometimes there were 80,
Mm-hmm.
80 of those little slides, like teeny, maybe an inch by inch or whatever they were, like 80 of them, and she only put like 10 on the test. So you had to be able to identify any of those 80 that she just flashed up on the screen. And when we got to more modern art stuff, I wanted
And
to
you're like,
slap
they're
some
all the
people
same.
because I'm like, why did you put 5 different Jackson Pollock paintings
Mm-hmm.
in this section for us to identify? So you're literally having to look at like, okay, so this one has like a blue kind of splatter stripe on this side, and this one, I mean, that was literally like how you're trying to identify that crap. It was just, anyway, yeah. Especially when you're like sitting there at 2 o'clock in the morning looking at these little teeny tiny slides on a light board,
Mm-hmm.
and you're like, I can't even tell what this is. Anyway, I digress. That's off topic. But yeah. So that's my judge.
Excellent judge.
Don't
Excellent
don't
judge.
destroy something, just yeah,
At
yeah.
least if you're going to destroy something, make sure it's somehow related to the thing you're talking about.
Exactly.
I can't follow
Right.
the train of thought. I just can't. I'm sorry.
Me
I'm
either.
sorry.
No. All right. Anyway, what are you judging?
Okay. So, I was watching some TikTok videos and I came across one that was like it was a duet. So the question
Mhm.
was, if you had to do like a 40-minute presentation on something without being able to prepare, what topic could you do it on? And I was like, oh, that's a neat question. And
Okay.
I was like thinking to
Mhm.
myself my answer as the person starts duetting in. And then I listened to her response and I was just like, my whole world changed. So
Uh-oh.
I'm gonna tell you. Do you know the name not Gerald, Gerard Way?
Gerard Way?
Gerard Way. Do you
I do not.
know who Gerard? I'm gonna make sure that's correct. I didn't just make that up because I sometimes yes,
You forget.
Gerard Way. Well, because it's such a odd name. I want to
No,
make sure that I'm
I don't
here.
think no. I am not finding that name in my
Well,
mind palace at all.
let me tell you about Gerard Way. Um, he was. We'll go back to 2001. In 2001, he was an intern at Cartoon Network in New York City.
Okay.
He was there on September 11th and saw the Twin Towers fall.
Uh-huh.
Young guy, intern, pretty young. And
Right.
as you remember, incredibly traumatic time for the
Yeah.
country as a whole.
Yes.
Specifically for him, he was himself, like, he had been evacuated from his building because it was just like a couple blocks away. And he was on the harbor standing with people and like a bunch of people, and they watched the Twin Towers fall and like audible gasps from,
Right.
so all of that nightmare that was happening at that time. So he ended up with PTSD from that, which is completely fair and completely
Right.
correct.
Mhm.
And so his way to kind of deal with that trauma was he decided to start playing music again. And
Okay.
he wrote a song and got together with his brother and had some other people get together and they created a band. Now you might know this band is called My Chemical Romance.
Ah, yes. I do. I
So
do.
My Chemical Romance became hugely popular and successful and
Mhm.
inspired like a whole new world, a whole new generation of emo.
Yes. Yes,
One
yes,
of
yes.
the people that it really inspired was a woman named Stephanie, who really loved My Chemical Romance. And
Mm-hmm.
she had a dream one night about vampires and woke up and was like trying to write down her dream, was listening to My Chemical Romance, got inspired and kept writing and writing and
Are we
writing.
talking about
And then she wrote
Twilight?
Twilight.
Because when she said Stephanie and then you said vampires, I
Yep.
was like, is this about Twilight?
So then she wrote Twilight, which, again, as you know, blew up. And everybody was
Right.
reading it, whether it was because they loved it or because they hated it, because
Right. Everybody had all the feelings about
I
Twilight back in the day.
loved to hate it. I still love to hate it. Not all of it. Like, it's very
Right.
specific. I really, really loathe the character Bella.
Uh-huh.
Loathe her in a way that I just cannot communicate in an effective way. But nonetheless, I read all of them. I read all of them. I bought them
Same.
all. I read them all. Could not watch the movies, but that's a Kristen Stewart hate thing. So fair, it's
Right.
fair, whatever. But anyway, so as you know, that was a huge success. Everybody read
Mm-hmm.
Twilight, and everybody was on like Team Jacob or Team Edward.
Yeah.
And
Mm-hmm.
so from there, lots of people were really inspired by Twilight and their personal obsessions. And so lots of fanfic began to be written,
Yes.
including a fanfic about Edward himself that turned out to be 50 Shades of Grey.
Good God.
So, what I'm here to tell you is that the reason that we live in a world in which 50 Shades of Grey exists and will never go away, because I'm glad if you love it. This is not a judgment on you. I really hate 50 Shades of Grey. I don't like that kind of story. I don't like,
Right.
like, everything about it just feels horrific to me,
Rough.
personal
Yeah.
hatred. I also, as I've said, kind of hate Twilight in its own special way, mostly Bella. But so also that blew up. So I'm here to tell you that the only reason that we have the ridiculous bullshit that is this dominant, submissive insanity of 50 Shades of Grey is because terrorists came and destroyed the Twin Towers in 2001.
Oh my gosh.
Yep. And so I'm watching this and I'm like, the fuck? I went through and like, I don't believe this. And so I'm like looking up, I'm like,
Right.
he did work for Cartoon Network. That is what inspired him to get back into music. That is how all this happened. He also, by the way, fun fact,
Oh my God.
Gerard also is a writer, and he is the writer behind the comic book series, The Umbrella Academy.
I do like the Umbrella
I know.
Academy.
So we
Yeah.
also have
Wow.
too, but like, I was just like, holy fuck. We have 50 Shades of Grey because of 9/11.
And Twilight. You're like, eh.
But like, it's specific one character hatred in Twilight. I hate all
Right,
of the
right.
premise of 50 Shades of Grey. I don't find it.
Right.
It
Same.
bothers
Yeah.
me.
It's like, I'm just
But
kind of
again,
like, I don't know. It's
just
cringy. It's cringy to me.
To those who are out there, I am not judging you for enjoying it and loving it because everybody has their own personal taste. I'm just saying it is a personal hatred pet peeve of mine. Don't want
Right.
it. I'm good.
No.
Thank you.
That's insane.
Mhm.
That is so crazy to like
Yep.
put all those like
And so I just sat there and was like dumbfounded and was like, I have to share
Right.
this as like my judge of I don't know what the terrorists were hoping to accomplish when they came and really fucked everything up. Because, like, again,
Right.
horrible time. We'll never forget. We all have PTSD from that. It was traumatic. We were both barely sort of kind of adults. So, like, completely,
know,
like, our
right.
first, we're finally growing up. The whole world is coming to an end. Like, that's basically how it went down.
Like, we were on the cusp of adulthood when that happened.
I'd been in college for like 2 weeks. It was awful. But so
and
like
I was a senior in high school, so it's all
I
like
am 100% sure that if they had known that it was going to lead to sparkling vampires and then really uncomfortable, dominant, submissive relationships, they probably would have not done it.
I would have thought twice.
I mean, it's like I don't think that was the outcome they were shooting for, but here we are.
But it happened, and we're here.
I was just like, huh.
That's crazy. I know you said you sent that to me.
Yes.
I'll have to go watch it.
I know.
Because,
and I mean, she's like she speeds through it because TikTok. But so like I went through and like read some articles like this is fucking real.
Like you fell into a hole. You were
He's not
like,
lying. This is a real person. This is his real story. This is how it all went down. I'm like, oh,
wow. I
huh.
did not know that. That is
I know.
insane. Interesting.
And I'm over here going, if I had 40 minutes, I probably could talk about how much I hate Dan Brown's books being adapted into movies.
Right. Or I could talk about my hatred for Tom
Oh
Brady,
God, forever and
or
eternity. I do
I
think I
could
could
go on and on
do,
about Harry Potter, probably.
I'm pretty sure I could do, and especially this week. Guys, I know you're not hearing this until the end of October. It is currently the 15th of October when we're recording. I'm telling you this because this week we lost Angela Lansbury, who is one of my most favorite humans
Right.
that have ever walked this planet for many, many reasons. We also lost Robbie Coltrane, and we're heartbroken over it. And it's been a bad week. But like this week, I have been toying around with the idea of actually writing this. But I think what I could do my 40-minute no, no prep presentation on
Right.
is how Jessica Fletcher is one of the best inspiration for women coming from the 1990s,
Oh,
because she absolutely
absolutely.
inspired me to believe in like the ability to have more than one life, that your life isn't over when you retire or when your relationship is gone or if you didn't have kids. There's always a chance to rewrite and do and challenge yourself and grow and find success in other ways, and it's never too late, and I love everything about it. And she's this
Absolutely.
great feminist character in this tiny ass town. And
And what's so weird to me is it happened in the 80s. Like that to me is just like, I mean, I know everybody, because that was when like women were, but the fact that she was so just
well, and
like,
that she was an older woman doing all of this on her
yes, like
own.
she wasn't, because I feel like a lot of the stuff in the 80s was like stuff like single moms
Mm-hmm.
and, things like that. But it was just, she had her, it was just her and then her 9 million nieces and nephews that just kept popping up in every episode.
Mm-hmm.
And you're like,
Well,
wait,
and
what niece or nephew is this?
and that it
you
was,
know?
the local police, they trusted her opinion, they valued her, and like she was
Yes.
always being confident, and when she was, because everyone died wherever she went, but she was always telling them, no,
Right.
you've got this wrong. And she was pushy. She wouldn't let anyone just talk over her because they were like, she was an excellent role model, and I love that
Yes.
character. And it's one of my favorite memories of Angela Lansbury, is her portraying that character excellently for several years. So I could talk about that forever, I think. So cool, cool, cool.
Yes.
But there you are.
There you are. Well, that's a good judge
Thank
because
you.
that's
I was like,
that's kind of
you're
mind
never
blowing.
gonna
I'm like,
know.
wait,
You're never
what?
gonna know how this all
What?
connects in the end, but you're gonna love it. It's gonna be great.
That's crazy.
I
Yeah,
was like,
no, had no idea.
holy hell. Okay.
Nice. I enjoyed that. Yeah, I had no idea.
Hmm. Well, that brings us to the main part of our show.
Yes.
This week's topic is Mothman.
Yes. Mothman.
I think Claire is going to share with us the story of Mothman, right? Okay.
Yes.
Okay.
Yes. I'm giving you the deets on Mothman. I got my sources are All That's Interesting, Wikipedia, and cryptids with a Z .fandom.com.
Cryptids.
cryptids.fandom.com. Anyway, so Mothman comes from West Virginia folklore. It's a humanoid creature that was first seen, actually, no, I'm not going to say only seen because people have seen it other places since, but first seen really in Point Pleasant, West Virginia from 1966 to 1967. And this is, I thought this was funny. The first newspaper headline from the Point Pleasant Register talking about Mothman was just, it was, quote, couple see man-sized bird, dot, 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 creature, dot, 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 something, end quote.
Something.
Like, that was, that what it
Man-sized
said.
bird creature
Right.
thing.
So Wikipedia says that the first sighting was on the 15th, but then other sources said it actually was on November 12th,
Mm-hmm.
1966 in Clendenin. I don't know if I'm saying that right, West Virginia. It was a group of 5 grave diggers spotted something odd while working, and it was a giant something was flying overhead, was a massive figure moving from tree to tree at a really rapid pace, and the group described it as a brown human being.
Unrelated question.
Yes.
Does it take 5 people to dig a grave? Why were there 5 of
Unless they
them?
were, I don't know.
Interesting. Sorry. I was just like,
Unless they
5?
were digging multiple
Oh my
graves.
gosh.
Like I don't know.
Multiple people died. The
I have
true
no
the true prophecy.
this is a true mystery. Yeah. Ah, the true prophecy. Yeah. But so then 3 days later, November 15th, 1966, and this is the most well-known first sighting. Two couples, Roger and Linda Scarberry and Steve and Mary Mallet, reported to police that they had been in this area in Point Pleasant known as the TNT area. And it
Because they
was,
blow stuff up there?
yes,
Oh.
no, well, it was a former World War II munitions
Oh,
plant.
well, so they made stuff that blew stuff up. Got it, got it, got it. Cool, cool.
Yes. So I guess they had parked there and they saw this creature in front of their headlights. And I guess I don't know if it like walked in front and then scurried away kind of thing, but they saw it. Its eyes glowed red. And when they drove off, they said this giant creature flew after them. And it was basically a large flying man with 10-foot wings that began following their car. And like I said, also reported that the creature's eyes glowed red when the car's headlights picked it up. It was white winged, 6 to 7 feet tall. Um, and like I said, when it was standing in front of the car, it was trying to avoid the headlights. I guess it's skittish. It doesn't. That's why it's a cryptid. It's
I mean, to
skittish.
be
Doesn't
fair,
want to be seen.
I also am skittish. And I am
Right.
not a cryptid, so it's fine. It's fine.
They said its flight was kind of incredible that it could fly at really fast speeds. And I don't know why. I'm like, were you all driving 100 miles an hour? Is that why you're saying this thing could fly 100 miles an hour?
They're doing the estimation
Anyway,
thing. Uh-huh.
yeah. But they said it was incredibly clumsy on the ground and eventually stopped following them and landed and disappeared into a nearby field. But Roger Scarberry said, if I had seen it by myself, I wouldn't have said anything. But there were 4 of us that saw it. So as he
Right.
was like, if I had just seen that out and about all
You'd be like,
alone, I would just been
I'm
like,
hallucinating. Okay.
right. Or I just, my mind is playing tricks on me. But because all 4 of those people saw it, it was like, wait, what? And so after these 2 initial sightings, uh, all of these other sightings began occurring in the following days. Some volunteer firemen saw a large bird with red eyes. A local contractor named Newell Partridge said he was at home watching TV and the TV started to like get fuzzy and make a buzzing
Mm-hmm.
noise. And then he heard a noise outside. And so he went and he had a flashlight and he caught a glimpse of the creature in his flashlight when he was shining it. And he said that its eyes looked like bicycle reflectors. Like the way they caught the light.
Bicycle
So
reflected light.
I know, right? But then like later his dog disappeared. And
No.
so he blames the buzzing noises from the TV and his dog's disappearance on this unknown creature.
Okay, so like I'm
And
here to blame the dog disappearance, but I mean this is what, the 60s, right?
yeah.
Like they all had antenna TVs. Like come on. Like it just, you know how those,
Right.
such a
It
dress
could have, I
them.
mean, yeah, that could have been
Like
anything.
don't be, don't they, okay. I'm here for it. But like,
He's just mad because it interrupted his stories.
oh no,
Okay.
the stories.
I know. But the Gettysburg Times reported 8 more sightings in the 3 days after the first initial sighting.
Hmm.
And so lots of people see all this, national news picks it up. So Mason County Sheriff George Johnson, he thinks that, and he claims that the sightings were just an unusually large heron, called a shite poke.
A heron
A heron, an unusually large heron known as a shite poke.
because it
Yes,
pokes shite.
I don't
Okay,
know.
sorry.
I know I'm
No,
not a I'm not an
I'm say
avian
we have a
enthusiast.
lot of herons here because
Right.
water, but like, all right, whatever.
You're just like, oh. And then a West Virginia University wildlife biologist suggested that it was just a sandhill crane. And based on the descriptions, that's why he thought that, but it's a large bird that's almost as tall as average man, has a 7-foot wingspan. I'm like, 7 feet and 10 feet are awfully different. I'm just saying.
Hmm.
But it has reddish circles around its eyes, like on its feathers.
Okay.
So it's got the reddish part around the eye. So he thinks that's why everybody's like, oh, it's got red eyes, but like you just saw the red around. But anyway. Um, and he thinks that it probably most likely wandered out of its original migration route. And so people are freaking out because it's not native to the region, so they're not used to seeing something like that. And
I mean, I guess, but like I've moved a lot, so I've seen all sorts of things that aren't native
right,
to where I'm from, and I don't freak the shit out.
freak out, yeah. But
I'm
yeah,
just
and
like, look at
some
that
local
weird bird over there.
I know, like, what is that? Yeah. Um, Locals say it could be a deformed crane if it was residing at the TNT area. And let me just tell you about the TNT area. Most of the sightings of the Mothman were around that area. Um, let's see, the West Virginia Ordnance Works abandoned this facility that manufactured ammunition and dynamite after World War II. And the surrounding area around the TNT area is mostly forest, but it said it was dotted with several grassy areas that had these concrete domes that they just called igloos.
Hmm.
And the igloos were used to store
Right.
gunpowder barrels. And so underneath this area, it's also riddled with a bunch of abandoned tunnels, and most of them have collapsed, been sealed off, or they've flooded with water.
Hmm. Hmm.
And it says the McClintic Wildlife Sanctuary encompasses this TNT area. But in 79, it said that fishermen reported that chemicals had seeped into the ponds and they wound up labeling it an environmental disaster. And in
Great. Great.
83,
Good job,
80,
guys.
yeah, right. And in 83, it was declared among our country's most polluted sites.
Woohoo! Good job.
so,
Yay. Team.
so like I say, locals thought it might be a deformed crane if it was residing in the TNT area because the bunkers leaked all these toxic chemicals into the nearby wildlife
So, what
preserve.
you're saying is, let me make sure I've got this right.
Yeah.
The assassination of Archduke Franz Ferdinand that started World War One, that inevitably led to World War Two, that inevitably led to us having to get involved and build this munitions plant is the reason why we have Mothman.
Yes.
All right. Connecting all the
Possibly.
dots, just like, my TikTok videos.
Yes. And still others
Okay. Mhm.
suggest that all of it was just a prank, and that this theory suggests that when Mothman went national, when the national newspapers and news outlets picked it up, that it caused locals to panic and become, just one of those where it's like you hear it and you're just like, oh, I see it everywhere,
Oh, right.
because it's in the national news, and so all these people are saying that they see it everywhere in just regular birds and other large animals, and probably way long after the prankster actually stopped, if it was a prank.
Ah, okay.
So, yeah. But so the name Mothman, not a whole lot on it, but Batman comics and TV show were really like widely popular at the time.
Batman,
And
Mothman, sure.
well, no, one of the villains featured in the comic book, it's never in the TV show, but one of the villains featured in the comic book was the killer moth.
Oh,
And so and
sure.
so this influence, yeah, was believed to have been the inspiration for the press to begin dubbing this mysterious flying creature that people kept saying as Mothman. Yep. So, and let's see. Oh, and so now we're to the Silver Bridge. Okay. Silver Bridge is a bridge that connects Point Pleasant and I'm going to say Gallipolis,
Sure.
Ohio. Could be Gallipolis. I don't know how people say things.
Yeah, we're not from there. We don't know.
No. Anyway, Gallipolis or Gallipolis, Ohio. Um, it was an I-bar chain suspension bridge, and it was named for its aluminum paint job. So it's the Silver Bridge. And um, it collapsed with the weight of rush hour traffic, killing 46 people. And two of those victims were never found.
Oh, that's sad.
So all these people were parked on like waiting on this bridge to go across it, and the whole thing just fell in. And so I was like, I don't think I realized 46 people
hmm
died. But anyway, um, the collapse was caused by a single eyeball bar failure with a defect that was zero point 0.1 inches deep. So just this little divot, zero point 0.1 inches deep in this thing caused it to
God, I'm
collapse.
nauseous. I hate bridges. I fucking
Right.
hate
Yeah, I know you do.
bridges. Ugh.
But also, it had been poorly maintained and was carrying much heavier loads than it had been intended to carry. So, 'cause I think it said it was built in 1928. So, cars have
I mean, you
changed,
say
all that
that.
stuff.
The bridge
Nobody,
I drive
you know.
across twice a day is 100 years old. So
Oh God, that's a
I hate that
terrible
bridge.
bridge. Right. Oh, I forgot to say, back when they were like having all the reports on Mothman, some of the Mothman witnesses were reportedly harassed by men in black who were trying to keep people quiet about the creature. Like they threatened them,
Ah,
saying, "Don't talk about it." And I'm just like,
here
"Wait,
come the
what?"
men in black.
I know, right? That's what I thought of. But anyway, so after the bridge collapsed, it became associated with the Mothman sightings, and some even believe that Mothman was some sort of warning or bringer of doom, that he had been there trying to get their attention to let them know this bridge was going to collapse, kind of thing. And since then, other countries have had
Mhm.
Mothman sightings, their own Mothman sightings. Freiburg, Germany, something that was described kind of like Mothman scared a bunch of miners away before their mine collapsed, so they got
Oh.
out and they were not killed. Um, and another sighting was the nuclear power plant at Chernobyl, that a creature kind of haunted the facilities before the infamous
Hmm.
meltdown happened. And then there was also two pics of a Mothman like creature in New York on 9/11.
I didn't know that.
Yeah, and multiple sightings of Mothman before the Minnesota bridge
Ugh.
collapse.
I look
So,
for
yeah, many
Mothman. If I
people
see Mothman here, I'm never driving across a bridge again. Do you
you're
understand?
just like, "I'm done, we're out."
I will quit my job and
So,
be like, I'm out. I'm not coming in
right,
ever again. Sorry. No bridges for this girl.
right. You're like, "I am done." So, yeah, many believe that Mothman appears as a warning of disasters that are about to happen. So, basically, Mothman is an is an omen of bad
Yes.
tidings, of
Hmm.
disasters that could have epic proportions. So that is the story of Mothman.
Amazing. Thank you, Claire.
You're welcome.
I'm sure you've seen the Mothman movie. It's very dramatic,
I think I saw it in the theaters.
right?
It's not my fave. Yeah. It was weird. I was just like, I'm confused.
Yeah. Well, there's I feel like there's a lot of random other things around it, conspiracy theories that they all
Right.
intertwined into the thing, but no, it's
Right, right,
it
right,
was horrible
right.
because didn't the bridge collapse like right at Christmas or something?
Yeah, it was because I remember there being like Christmas presents all in the water and but I mean it was December when it actually collapsed, so that's fair. Like people could have been Christmas shopping, I guess.
Hmm.
I don't know.
Well, I think that's what I remember from the movie is that everyone was in their car with like their Christmas presents or
Christmas
whatever, and
presents.
it was all like Christmassy
Yep.
time, and I was like,
Right, right, right.
it's awful. I
Anyway,
hate it.
it is, yeah.
Blah.
And I mean, and they've rebuilt the bridge, and now it's like the Silver Memorial Bridge, but you know,
That bridge is haunted. All right, you understand?
right?
That
And
shit's
that whole
haunted.
river is probably like haunted. It's like, nope.
Yeah, right, sometimes you just look at something you're like, that shit's haunted. In fact,
Right,
last night
100%.
I was on a ghost tour for library stuff. Um, and I sent Claire a picture of a building, and it's like the most haunted building in the Dalles. And it's because it was at one point it was the courthouse and like people got hung there, and then at some other point it was the Freemasons Lodge, and shit happens there.
Right,
And then after that,
right.
it was a funeral home for a while, and like it still gives
Of
that
course.
funeral home vibe. I feel like it gives all the vibes. Now it's a restaurant that has really good food, but
Oh,
like the
nice.
people who work there are like, yeah, it's fucking haunted. Like
It's
they're like, we don't go
haunted.
downstairs, we don't go upstairs either. And I'm like, okay,
Nice.
stay the main floor and you're fine.
Oh my gosh, that's funny. We don't go
We
downstairs.
don't go downstairs alone. And they're like, we don't go downstairs alone. I'm like, I
I
fair.
get it.
I won't stay in the library alone.
Right, right.
I don't like it.
I mean, I get it. There are times where I'm just like, nope, we're nope,
Yeah,
done.
sometimes you're like, I'm
It's dark.
noping.
I'm not
Nobody, nope, 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 nope,
right.
nope, nope.
Anyway, so yeah.
Anyway,
So, what story have you brought us about Mothman?
well, so I thought I would go with, as we know and we've learned from your story, Mothman is a harbinger of doom and disaster.
He is.
And so I thought I'd bring to you some other harbingers of doom and disaster.
Yes.
So I got all of my information from Ranker,
Nice.
news.com.au. Thank you, Australia.
Okay.
Wikipedia, and whitehousehistory.org. It's very specific.
WhiteHouseHistory.org.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
Noted. Why is my phone making
I don't know.
noise?
I was
Stop
like, what is
it.
that?
It's like, what the heck is happening? Okay.
Okay. So the first one I'm going to talk about, you vaguely mentioned the
Uh-huh.
Blackbird of Chernobyl.
Aha! Blackbird.
The Blackbird of Chernobyl. So April 1986, a few
Nice.
weeks before the infamous disaster,
Yes.
people living near the Chernobyl power plant started to see a giant winged creature.
Oh, okay.
And to them, they said it looked like a headless man with piercing red eyes. So the red eyes are there again.
Okay.
I
All
don't I
right.
don't
Yeah.
think that weird ass bird is over in Chernobyl, by the way. Just saying.
Right,
I'm
right.
just saying.
Oh, the
In the
crane?
sand, just saying.
No.
It's not
No.
there.
Yeah. The sandhill crane? No, I
Right.
don't think that's a thing.
So they see it kind of like coasting on the wind, as winged
Right.
creatures tend to do. And those who saw the creatures, or creature, not plural, those who saw the creature began having really bad headaches. They started having horrible nightmares.
Right.
Um, they started getting phone calls that felt threatening to them, like there'd be no one on the other end, but like it felt ominous and threatening.
Yes.
And so they were freaked out about it. And several of the workers who worked in the control room at the power plant had seen that creature because, he's trying to let them know bad shit's about to happen.
Right. Yes.
But then on April 26th, 1986, Chernobyl melted down. I won't go into great big detail about that, but they were doing a safety check and it failed. It's kind of one of the reactors
Right.
exploded, which is bad. Really bad.
I mean, if
Really,
you
really,
want to
really
watch,
fucking bad.
if you want to watch a good series,
I heard Chernobyl was
Chernobyl,
really good, but
Chernobyl on HBO Max is excellent. There was one time, funny aside, Brandon and I were texting about it because we were watching that not together, but we would like
Mhm.
watch it at the same time because he lives an hour away, so we would text about it. And so I was texting him about something, and I texted Chernobyl instead of Chernobyl.
Uh-huh.
And so now that's like what we were just like
Chernobyl.
Chernobyl. We call it Chernobyl because of my texting my texting mistake because it's like, where were you then, autocorrect?
I know. It's
Where
like
were you then? Gosh, make my life hell all other times. But then the one time I need you and you're like, Chernobyl, let's send that shit. It's like, oh, okay. I digress. Sorry.
No, that's fine. So Chernobyl melted down. Those who survived that initial blast started seeing the large black bird-like creature again. So like there's a group of
Mm.
people who saw him before, and then after the blast, there are people who saw it again, and they said that it had a 20-foot wingspan. So he got
Oh,
bigger.
wow.
Maybe that
It got bigger.
I'm gonna guess the radiation of the explosion just
Made
grows
it.
wings. I don't know.
Gotcha. Made it grow.
But they
Okay. Yeah.
saw it flying through the noxious black smoke that was pouring out of the reactor.
Ew.
And then they never saw it again.
Wow.
Weird.
It's like, I told you, bitches.
It's like,
And
I
now I'm out.
tried to tell you bad shit's gonna
Right.
happen. You didn't listen. Bye.
Right.
All right. So the next one I'm gonna talk about. These are short. I have several.
Okay.
Is the Nain Rouge, which is an evil sprite running around Detroit.
What?
I know, right?
A
So
sprite running around Detroit?
it is a red and impish creature. And one of the descriptions says, very red in the face with a bright, glistening eye. Instead of
Okay.
burning, it froze. Instead of possessing depth, emitted a cold gleam like the reflection from a polished surface, bewildering and dazzling all who came within its focus. And with a grinning mouth displaying sharp pointed teeth, completed this strange face. It's an older
Right.
someone from back in the day.
Back in the day, yeah.
But other people say it kind of looks like a cartoon devil.
Oh,
Like it
okay.
just
Yeah.
um according to there's numerous stories about this thing. One of them is that it is related to Detroit's founder Antoine de la Mothe Cadillac,
Okay.
who was told by a fortune teller to appease the Nain Rouge, but upon encountering this creature, he smacked it with his cane and shouted, "Get out of my way, you red imp!" I'm sure,
Okay.
as you're aware, that went over super well,
Oh,
as it would
absolutely.
generally do. And
Yes.
as a consequence, a string of bad luck befell Cadillac. He was charged with abuse of power and reassigned to Louisiana. Later returned to France, where he was imprisoned and eventually lost his fortune. Never,
Wow.
ever hit a red imp with your cane. Okay, just don't do it.
Right.
So it's one of its first sightings was at the Battle of Bloody Run in 1763. And that is where 58 British soldiers were killed by Native Americans in the area. And according to legend, the Nain Rouge danced among the corpses after.
Oh, okay.
It was seen
Well,
again during the War of 1812 when General William Hull had to surrender Detroit. Um, it was seen in 1967 before the Detroit riots, and again in 1976 before a really massive ice storm, and was most recently seen in 1996 when people saw something in a nasty red coat fleeing the scene of a burglary. And I'm like, I don't care if it is or not. That's the greatest thing ever.
Right.
The nasty red coat. Um,
That's hilarious.
but the city super embraces the Nain Rouge. Every
Uh-huh.
spring, the city hosts a community festival and costume parade called Marche de Nain, bleh, Marche de Nain Rouge, in which the creature is chased, quotations, out of the city, to keep bad stuff from happening.
Right. Nice. Nice.
Our next harbinger of doom, the Flying Dutchman.
Yes. The Flying Dutchman.
So, the Flying Dutchman is a ghost ship that, when seen, strikes fear in the heart of seafarers.
Yes, it does.
It is most likely a 17th century ship that was named the Flying Dutchman, that while sailing around the Cape of Good Hope, I think that's right, it ran into a storm. And instead of doing the responsible thing of battening down the hatches and trying to like GTFO away from the giant fucking
Right.
storm, the
Like how you're
captain
supposed
was
to do.
just like, nah, we got this shit. Spoiler, they don't got this shit.
No, you don't got
They
it.
don't got it.
That's a lie.
Everyone was washed overboard, and the captain was cursed to sail the world for forever as like punishment for
Forever.
his mismanagement, which I think is fair.
I mean,
I mean,
yeah,
dude,
to be fair.
dude. So if you see the Flying Dutchman, something bad is about to happen. And this was really cool. So one of the more recent sightings, I mean, not super recent, but one of the more
Yeah.
well-known sightings was seen by Prince George of Wales in 1880.
Uh-huh.
He later became King George V
Uh-huh.
of England. So on July 11th at 4 a.m., he in their prince's log, the prince's log that he kept notes in or whatever.
Right, right. Yeah.
He wrote, "The Flying Dutchman crossed our bows. A strange red light, as as of a phantom ship all aglow, in the midst of which light the masts, spars, and sails of a brig 200 yards distant stood out in strong relief as she came up on the port bow, where also the officer of the watch from the bridge clearly saw her, as did the quarterdeck midshipman, who was sent forward at once to the forecastle. But on arriving there is no vestige nor any sign whatever of any material ship was to be seen, either near or right away to the horizon, the night being clear and the sea calm. 13 persons altogether saw her. At 10:45 a.m., the ordinary seaman who had this morning reported the Flying Dutchman fell from the fore topmast crosstrees onto the top gallant forecastle and was smashed to atoms." Which
Wow.
very dramatic writing, by the way. But like,
It is very dramatic. Yeah. This
it's like the
person is being
future
a little
king of
dramatic.
England saw the Flying Dutchman, and one of the seamen died within
Right.
hours. Like, it's
Yeah.
bad news, guys. Bad news.
Bad news bears.
Okay. The next one, I'm going to mispronounce this.
Yeah, good luck with that. Because I'm looking at the email you
Mm-hmm.
sent me with the
So
photos, and I'm like, what?
I'm gonna spell it for you guys. It's Cyhyraeths, and it's Welsh. And I'm pretty sure, because I looked it up, it should sound like this. Cyhyraeth.
Okay.
Cyhyraeth.
Cyhyraeth. Okay.
And I swear, by the way, in some of the pictures and descriptions, I swear that this is at least partially the inspiration for Dementors in J.K. Rowling's Harry Potter.
Oh,
So I
really?
was like, um, so Cyhyraeth is also, I think it translates to the wailing, which is creepy.
Okay.
And it's a sound heard by someone or a group of people who are about to suffer a terrible fate. If you
Yikes.
happen to see a Cyhyraeth in person, they are robed and hooded.
Oh,
And if you see them, you or a family member will die.
dang.
The sound is said to be very doleful and disagreeable,
Ew.
and you'll hear it, the wailing, 3 times, growing weaker and fainter each time. And at the end of the third wailing, the person dies.
Oh, no.
They have also been heard before shipwrecks and are sometimes accompanied by corpse lights, or if I know them better as will-o-wisps, is
Oh, yeah.
the
Yeah.
ghostly lights that lure you to your death. Don't
Yes.
follow the light, guys. Stay the fuck away from the light.
Yeah. I was like, oh, yeah, I've heard of will-o-wisps.
And are sometimes, I don't know if confused with or are interchangeable with might be the better way,
Yeah.
associated with something called the Hag of the Mist.
Okay.
So the Hag of the Mist is a harpy-like creature that has unkempt hair and wizened, withered arms with leathery wings, long black teeth, and pale corpse-like features. She approaches the window of a person who is about to die and calls their name. And I'm
Interesting.
like, I don't like this.
It's like,
I had a sleep paralysis experience once where
oh, did you?
um I used to get them all the time. I haven't in a while because they were usually triggered by like the migraine medicine I would take, and I don't
Yeah.
really take it much anymore.
Right.
Um, and so I remember once having that moment of like being awake, can't move, but hearing my name being called, and it was the creepiest fucking
Oh,
thing. Like Shadow Man with the hat is scary and creepy, but not like in a
right.
like I never got like that deep seated like stomach drop feel.
Yeah.
But I specifically remember laying in my bed in my house and hearing April, April,
When was this?
April. Like within the first couple of years I lived there,
Which house?
my house, and
Here
yeah, Lexington.
in Lexington. Okay, that one. Okay.
And it was,
So it
and I was
wasn't
like,
that long after
I
you moved in.
lived alone. Nobody lived with me, just me. And I'm
Right,
like,
right.
fuck, 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 fuck. It was scary as hell.
And then you're like, holy shit.
Ooh, and like
Like
you
they got
can't
you.
move, and you're like, "Whoa."
Right.
Hate, 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 hate. Do not call my name in the dark. I will stab you, okay?
It's true.
Next, the Demon Cat of Washington, D.C.
Oh, okay.
If you happen to see the Demon Cat, something terrible is about to happen. It tends to appear at the Capitol or the White House. There are lots of tunnels that connect various Capitol buildings together that
Yeah.
we don't get to know about because we're not cool. And that is
Right.
most often where the demon cat is spotted. It was seen the night before the assassination of John F. Kennedy, so that was
Oh, okay.
scary. It appears as a regular sized house cat initially, but then quickly expands to the size of an elephant before the eyes of the terrified observer.
What?
Its
Oh
eyes,
my
yeah,
gosh.
yeah, its eyes glow with the hue, with all the hue and ferocity of the headlights of a fire engine.
Wow.
It was first seen in 1862 at a time when soldiers were often in the tunnels. They like sometimes they had like rations in there. They go and get stuff or whatever.
Yeah. Mhm.
And a guard reportedly fired his gun at the cat, and it just faded away and disappeared into nothingness. And like, the fuck is this?
Wow.
It was also seen just before the stock market crashed in 1929. So, there's
Yeah.
often, it's one of the like favorite hauntings of the White House, I think is.
Gotcha.
And by favorite, they mean it's cool, except for the whole, you know, bad
Like
shit's coming, assassinations,
bringer of
death of
death and
everything.
doom.
Uh, one theory is that it is the spirit of a cat that was brought in to hunt rats in the basement tunnels of the Capitol back in the early 1800s.
Okay. Interesting.
So the next one's also very short. The white deer.
Yes.
If you see it, something bad is about to happen. Usually it's imminent
Okay.
doom. So you see it, you're probably going to die before you tell anybody about it.
Okay. Like
Mm.
instantaneous, like,
I
oh,
mean,
you're
like
gone.
there's something bad's about to happen. You're just not gonna make it. But
Yeah.
interestingly, in Arthurian legend, when they see a white deer, it is the impetus for them to begin the quest.
Get the quest.
Which to me, I'm like, either way, that's super shitty because, like, one, I don't really want like imminent doom, but I'm also not really into questing. So, like, I don't
Right.
want
Yeah.
either of
It's like
those.
you're like,
I'm like, I don't want this.
no.
Okay, so the next one is only a problem if you happen to be the head of the household of the, I'm not sure how do you say, like a viscount, the
Okay.
viscountery of,
The fat
it's like
countery.
if you only happen to be the head of the household of the Viscount of Gormanston, which is in Ireland. So they have a problem with the
Okay.
Gormanston foxes.
Okay.
So apparently, right before the demise of the current Viscount, foxes will congregate around the home. And by home, I mean fucking castle. I looked at it. It's
Right. It's not
huge
like a
and
house.
gorgeous. And I'm like, damn, I want to be a Viscount.
Yeah, it's not just like, oh, it's a house.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So this is, let's see, at the time that Jenico William Joseph, who was the 14th Viscount of Gormanston, was dying, foxes were seen about the house and coming towards the house for some days before. His valet, who was sleeping in his room, heard what he thought was a dog barking, and on going over to the window, found it was a fox sitting under the window and barking.
Oh wow. Yeah. And barking. I love that they bark.
At the death of Edward, the 13th Viscount, the foxes were also there. He had been rather better one day, but the foxes appeared barking under the window, and he passed that night contrary to expectation. I love
Wow.
that phrase. Contrary to expectation. But
Contrary.
again,
I like that word contrary. It's
it's a
like
good word. But
it
then you don't
is.
really have to worry about this. I'm probably never going to be the Viscount of Gormanston, so it's fine. It's not our problem.
It's fine.
But this next one could be a problem
Okay.
because there is Irish blood in me, Claire. Is there Irish blood in you?
I think so.
Well, then we're fucked because
Okay.
banshees are coming.
Ah, banshees.
So it is said that every family has their own personal banshee,
What?
which is kind of like a super shitty guardian angel, by the way.
I don't think I realized that they had like
You have your very own banshee per family.
interesting. I did
And
not realize that.
this anti guardian angel lets out a gruesome wail before a death.
Yes.
Now, this wail can be heard from miles away, and the sounds grow louder and louder and louder until the moment of your death.
Interesting.
Now, banshees sometimes are have been known to look like, anyway, as though they have long streaming hair and wear a gray cloak over a green dress because thank you, Ireland. Her
Right.
and her eyes are red from continual weeping because she's crying. She's sad.
Aw.
But she may be dressed in white and have red hair and a ghastly complexion.
Okay.
So there's options. I
There's
guess,
options.
I mean, I
Okay.
guess it really depends on your family because you each have your own. So they may differ. So I'll have to find out if we got any banshees screaming at our demise because
Gotcha. Like
Lord,
what's
Lord of Jesus. Okay,
Interesting.
we're getting close. We're getting close. Just a few more. We have the hellhound,
The Hellhound.
also
It's like the
known,
Hound of the Baskervilles.
right? The hellhound. I had no idea that it was like a cryptid, I guess. Like I thought it was just
Oh, really?
like,
Like a
like it's a
bringer of doom.
yeah. Like I thought it was like a made up thing. I didn't realize it was part of like folklore in the area.
Right, right.
They're also called barghests, Bargheest. They
Okay, I think
are
I've seen that word. Yeah.
goblin dogs with giant teeth and claws and only appear in the night to those who are about to die.
Ah.
Which I'm going to go with fair because if you see that, it's probably going to kill you.
Yeah. Well, and when you said goblin
Goblin
dogs,
dog.
it reminds me of the two like animal creatures in Ghostbusters, the original.
Right?
It's like, are you the gatekeeper? Are you the keymaster? And they turn into those demon dogs. That's what they look like
It's
demon
true.
goblin dogs.
Yeah, those are
There is
those are hellhounds. I like that.
there is only Zool, stuff like that.
Zoo.
So that's when you said goblin dog. That's
Goblin
what that
dog.
reminded me of.
Well,
That was the mental image I had
then
in my
you'll up.
head.
There are in fact many variations of the hellhound. Um,
Gotcha.
so in Lancashire, there is one whose name is Trash. I don't know why. Don't ask. I don't know. There is a hellhound
Trash.
there. His name is Trash. Um, he's at a slight disadvantage because his backward feet are facing the wrong way. So like
Oh.
they're wrong.
So it's like his front feet are facing forward and his back
Are
feet are
facing
facing
backward.
backwards. Like
Yes.
it's not like
Hmm.
all the same way.
Right.
Interesting.
And so because of this anomaly, it makes a splashing sound when it walks,
Oh, okay.
which I mean, it's kind of helpful because then you can hear
Then you'll
it
hear it.
before you see
Yeah.
it maybe and you can, get out.
Right, right.
So I mean, trash the splashing sound dog. But I don't know. What a weird, it's just weird to say.
That is very weird.
Okay. The Green Lady of Stirling Castle.
Green.
The Green Lady.
Interesting.
So this is in Scotland at Stirling Castle, in which, just so you know, Stirling Castle is one of the most haunted castles of all the castles that
Ever.
have ever
Yeah.
castled.
Yes.
They have several ghosts of various colors. So they have like a red lady and a white lady and a green lady and all the ladies, the gray lady, all the ladies are here. So you don't want to see any of them. Just letting you know,
It's like
they're all bad.
oh,
They're all bad.
it's like all the ghosty ladies, all the ghosty ladies,
Yes,
all the ghosty
and
ladies.
they're all at Sterling. But the green lady is particularly bad. It is said that her look will bring death to anyone who catches her eye. So, like, if you see
You
her,
even look at
if you
her,
see her and she sees you, you dead. You're
you're in
dead.
trouble.
I'm sorry. There's nothing that anyone can do for you. It's over. I'm sorry.
Is it like
I don't
instantaneous?
know. But it's
Okay.
just you're dead. Sooner
Noted.
rather than later.
Okay.
There
Noted.
are several legends as to who this Green Lady is. One legend is that she was one of Queen Mary's chambermaids and was charged with keeping an eye on Mary while she slept.
Okay.
But she fell asleep, and the chamber went up in flames, and she
Oh
managed to
no.
save the queen, but she died from her injuries herself.
Oh
The queen
no.
lived, she died. Um, One of the stories is that she was a maid who had a premonition that if her queen slept even one night within Stirling Castle, that she would not live to see the dawn. She told her mistress of her fears, and Mary listened kindly to her because she was fond of the girl and could not reject the hospitality of the Stirling family, and who had fought hard to protect her against the advances of Henry VIII's army because everything's bad.
Right.
Um, and so she said she had this maid watch over her as she slept and said, you can call for help if you need anything. So,
Right.
like,
Yeah.
that's like she had a premonition, but then it was like you're sitting quietly in a bedroom and a candle is flickering
Right.
and you're bored and you're tired and you fall asleep and then suddenly everything's on fire. I
Right,
know,
right,
that's bad.
right.
One of the other stories, though, is that the Green Lady is actually the daughter of a commander of the castle who cast herself from the Elphinstone Tower onto the ragged rocks beneath, in sorrow
Oh,
that her cruel father had ended her romance with a common soldier boy by having him shot.
that's hate.
Right?
That's
That's
hateful.
just, and to me that feels like if like she died because she fell asleep and she saved her queen, like I feel like she's not gonna have that much hate in her heart to like kill everybody,
Right.
but like daddy
Right.
killed my lover so I had to kill myself. That feels there's like a
Yeah,
lot of hate there that's gonna be
absolutely.
like, I'm
That
just gonna murder people now, okay?
that
we're
feels more
This feels
to
like the
me
correct
more
story.
right.
I feel like she's got some unresolved issues that she really needs to work through, but she can't because when she sees them they die and everything's bad.
Definitely.
So all I'm saying is, Claire, Ouija board Sterling Castle next year. What do you say?
Let's do it.
But we'll wear
Let's do it.
blindfolds so that we can't see her.
Right, 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 right,
I
right.
can't see you, you can't see me. That's how that works.
And it's like we're just gonna go in there blind. It's fine.
All right. Next one. I'm going to spell it first.
Okay. Yeah, yes, I saw this one too and I was like, what?
Caoineag. I'm pretty sure. I tried. I tried really hard on these. I tried to look them up. Um, it should be Kalnick.
Cow Nick?
Kalnick.
Cow Nick. Okay.
It is a Scottish spirit similar to the banshee, which feels more at home to
Okay.
me. We're a bit more Scottish than Irish, but it's fine. We're both. It's
Right.
fine. Um, this particular spirit keeps to waterfalls, rivers, and other small bodies of water,
Okay.
but it leaves its watery home in order to visit families that have ailing family members. And when it visits, it moans to them
Mm.
to let them know that it is time to say goodbye. So it's not like mean or like killing things. It's just
Yeah.
like, hey, your family member's not going to make it. So you should probably like get some closure now while you have a chance.
Right. More of
Um,
a this is coming. We want you to be
yeah,
aware.
it's kind of like a helpful, scary thing.
Right.
Before the massacre of Glencoe, the Kalnick of the MacDonalds was heard to wail night after night.
Wow.
Those whose fears were roused by her keening, her wailing, left the glen and they escaped the fate of those who remained behind, which, by the way, was not good. They all died. It was bad. So,
Shock, surprise.
so,
They're like, I'm getting out. No, we're not
so,
singing.
like, it may also be like a harbinger of, hey,
Yeah.
I'm here to moan because people gonna die, but like, if you go now, you might make it. So,
Yeah,
kind of
right.
peace
It's
out.
like,
All right, and my final one is one that you told me about, Claire. You shared it with me this week.
did I?
One of the biggest harbingers of doom and disaster is Tom Brady.
I was like, what? I don't remember talking to you about this. Like, what?
uh, so this week, Claire shared with me a lovely picture of Tom Brady kissing some baby, right?
I'm assuming it's his own
I mean,
child, I
I
would
don't know,
assume.
but it's a child, yes, a baby.
Yeah.
And the tagline was sucking the life force out of the child in order to basically stay young forever and keep playing football.
Yeah. Basically, they're saying Tom Brady's like a Dementor or
And
something.
it made me laugh because that we've talked about that before about my
Yes.
belief that Tom Brady sucks the life force out of younger creatures in order to keep on. He's
Yeah,
a
it says
vampire.
Tom Brady. Yeah, Tom Brady sucks the life out of a small child so he continued to play football.
So, to me, that is the biggest harbinger of doom. If you see Tom Brady, especially if you happen to be younger, just remember Hocus Pocus was inspirational for many people. And I'm feeling like Tom Brady took some inspiration from the "Come Little Children, I'll Take Thee Away" and "Suck Out
I
Your Life
know. It's
Force" to
like
play
I
forever.
need a video of Tom Brady singing "Come Little Children,
Oh, well,
take me
we just need him
away."
kissing the baby and then just playing the song on top of it. It's all you need. Everybody will follow it along.
Oh my gosh! Yes, 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 yes.
So
That's
he is
hilarious.
my, I believe, 12th and final harbinger of doom and disaster.
That's hilarious.
You're welcome.
Thank you. Oh my gosh! Holy crap! That's hilarious.
Yes.
Nice.
I mean, of all of the scary things that have been mentioned, he might be the scariest of them all for me. I
It's
think I'm
true.
pro like Banshee and Kunyak and all of them. Like, it's fine,
Yeah. I mean, because I have gone as a banshee before for Halloween, like
right?
when I was younger. Yeah, I've
It's
done
just
it.
you just
So
scream every once in a while.
yeah, yeah. Paint your face
There
really
is
white.
to do like a whole like 360 back to where we were. There is an episode of Murder She Wrote in which Jessica Fletcher
Right.
is in Ireland and her friends, someone of course gets murdered, but they're hearing the cry of a banshee. And so it's very
Yes.
Scooby Doo meets Murder
Yes.
She Wrote. And I love it. And it's excellent. And it tells you that even though you're older and you think your life is over, there's still time to travel and see the world.
It's
So
true.
many wonderful life lessons from Jessica Fletcher. Thank you.
Yes.
Thank you. Thank you.
Well, that was excellent. Thank you for
Thank
that.
you. I love coming up with weird random things to talk about on this podcast.
Excellent. So now it's that time.
Ooh, it must be time for tarot time with April. Spooky,
It
spooky.
is.
I feel like I should just be like, "Come, little children, I'll take thee away into Tom Brady's arms. He'll suck your life force so he can play forever the football game."
Right.
Yeah. Tom Brady. He is a vampire in many, many ways.
He is.
Keep your children. What's the one? The had your children.
Oh yeah.
Had your
Hide your
children, had your
children.
wife.
Hide your
Tom
wives.
Brady's coming. Had your
That's
children.
right.
Are you ever gonna tell me to stop?
I'm just like, stop. Okay.
It's like I've been going a while. I'm getting scared.
Well, no, it's just that sometimes it's like I feel like I'm wanting different cards than what we.
Oh, we accidentally called in an Aggie cat.
Uh-oh.
Uh-oh. She's like, snoof, 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 snoof. All right. You want new and different cards, but you know you're not going to get new and different cards, right?
I know. It's like I wanted cards that we've never had. Like, come on.
All right. Well, let's add another element to this. You ready? I have cut the deck into 3.
Uh-oh.
Should I draw off of each deck? Should I restack it and draw from there?
Draw off each deck. Let's do something different.
All right. The Pope.
The Pope. Have we had him?
Maybe?
I don't know
No?
that we've
Actually,
I
I
don't
don't
know that
think we
we
have.
have.
He has a
Ha!
different name. The 2 of Swords.
2 of Swords.
And the 6 of Pentacles inverted.
Okay.
Look at us. New things happening.
Right. Yeah, I don't think we've had the Pope.
Let's see. The Pope is actually I have to remember. The Emperor, if that helps. Because these cards have slightly different ones. Have you ever had the Emperor? Is it the Emperor?
We've had the Empress and we've had the
Oh, no,
Popess.
wait. I'm kidding. The Pope is the Hierophant in this deck, which is my
That's your birth card.
I need to make sure that's right. Hold on.
No, we've not because we had the Pope S, which is the High
Yes, the Pope.
Priestess.
Okay. Right. So this is the Hierophant.
Okay.
This is my birth card. I
It is your
am
birth
the
card.
Pope, guys, which is hysterical if you know my complicated views on religion.
Right.
But me and my birth card, man, I can't fight it. Can't fight fate. I'm gonna skip her blah 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 because she doesn't like the Hierophant, or she didn't, and it bothered her.
Oh.
But then she accepted that that's not really what it is. So, um, okay, so the Hierophant is often, like in this deck, is often related to the Pope, and it gives you lots of religious vibes. But that's not really it.
Right.
So in here she talks about when she realized that the Hierophant is likened more to the trickster gods,
Okay. That makes
which
more sense for you.
you'll enjoy this list of trickster gods. So we have Coyote, which is from a lot of
Yes.
indigenous folklore.
Mm-hmm.
Um, Hermes, Fox, Anansi, Loki, and Jesus. Which
Yes.
I argue, yes, trickster god he be. He's got a good time. I mean, like, you know, just saying. Look, I'm dead. Look, I'm not dead. LOL.
Right. You're just like, wait, what?
They take information we can't quite wrap our heads around and make it discernible. Right? The trickster is the messenger between the gods and man, stealing fire, teaching us forbidden secrets, giving us an apple. The Hierophant is the go between for the gods and man, just as Coyote stole fire. In order to make the attainable ours, risks are taken. Let's see. How does conformity fit in with tricksters? I kind of see it as hard work. You've got to work to get the knowledge. Joseph Sobrer called the Hierophant he who shows the sacred in the Book of Oracles or A Poet's Tarot. This dance between the profane and the sacred is the dance of the Hierophant, which speaks to me in
Oh.
so many ways. I'm like, yes, it's that place in between. Tricksters never made anything easy. The Hierophant earned these robes and his followers. Blah, blah. I'm just trying to check to see how his stuff. He has his hand raised in a blessing and seems to have earned his big, huge crown. The important things in this card are the crossed keys at his feet, which I don't have in this one, but it doesn't matter.
Yeah.
Okay. In a reading, this card can have several meanings. The Hierophant is a teacher. He represents a group or class and is an authority. He has studied for a long time. He's learned all that he can and is passing it on to others as his life's work. He's all about tradition and using the old knowledge to teach the new generation. There's obviously a religious angle to this card as well. He takes information and passes it on. He's an archivist and a librarian.
Ho 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 ho. There you go.
Also, weirdly, this card comes up all the time for computer professionals. I didn't get it at first, but I think of what they do. They take massive amounts of data and make it make sense to us. The Hierophant can indicate the need to conform and educate yourself, or that you need to establish a spiritual tradition. I see it come up before kids go off to college, or if someone has lost their focus at work and needs to pursue another degree or career. It comes to us as a means to an end, a pathway to gain the education that lets you live your most authentic life.
Nice. I dig it.
Right? I'm here for it. I'm like, whoa,
I dig
whoa.
it.
Me and the Hierophant having a good time. The Two of Swords.
We had that back when we did the tarot episode. Tarot.
I think there's a point in nearly everyone's life where you realize that you're alone.
Ah, yes.
Blah, 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 blah. I mean, we've all
All
got
by
someone theoretically. We
myself.
didn't hatch. But as I grow older, I realize that the process of growing up will strip people away from strip people away from you. Friends will betray you. People will go weird and stop calling. Your family isn't perfect, and suddenly you look around, and instead of 2 tables full of cousins on Thanksgiving, it's just you and likely a cat. It's 2 cats. Thank you very much.
Like, excuse me. 2.
Blah, blah. I call the 2 of Swords the shut the hell up so I can hear myself think card. It is about being alone. This woman has grabbed a chair. That's not a woman. And a blindfold and a few swords and marched herself out into the middle of nowhere. Blah, blah, blah. She doesn't need external influence for the decisions she needs to make. She doesn't need distractions. She's alone and she's okay with that. That's something that she needs to figure out for herself. In the wandering narrative of tarot, this is what happens after the shock of alone goes away, when you realize you don't need the world's chatter to make sense of your life. That moment when you wander away by the shore, pull up a seat on a bench, and blindfold yourself against distraction. So, I skimmed over some of it. It's basically,
yeah,
you're alone in the sense that you need to figure things out on your own, but that doesn't mean you're lonely. It's 2 different things. You're fine. You're alone, but you're fucking fine. That's fine. Everybody's happy.
Alone.
I love being left the hell alone. I'm tired, man. Okay. And then bad things happen. Right? We're 6. Yeah. 6 of Pentacles inverted. Falling into debt is like stealing from future you. When you take from yourself, you're promising yourself and your family a more difficult future. I don't think that a lot of people see it like this, which is why debt is so common. Stealing from other people eats a bit of you away. Anytime you diminish the light of another human being, you diminish your light as well.
Interesting.
It is interesting because, obviously this is a bit away for our tarot fortunes, but I literally today filled out my application for student loan forgiveness, so
oh, did you?
Yep, it took like a minute, so cool. It's only in beta, so it's not being super pushed and publicized because it's like beta, so we can figure out all the things that are bad when we put it out. And I'm like, I don't care, put me in now, day 1. I want out of my student loan debt.
You're like, immediately.
He's like, get it off me. So, well, there you go.
That's not terrible.
No, it's just, let's see. Open to learning new things so that you can do something else and find your authentic self. Sometimes you got to do that alone because no one else can really do that for you. It's your decision to figure out what's next. But also don't get into debt because you're stealing from your future self, and that's not nice. Okay.
That's true.
I like it. It kind of seems connected. Here for it.
It's not nice.
And now we're going to find out what our very first topic of November is going to be.
Yes. All right. You ready?
I am not ready, but I'm ready.
All right.
What's going to be on the wheel?
Wheel of fate.
It's gonna be something.
Uh-oh. That's not how I remember it.
That's not how I remember it.
That's Spencer's.
That'll be fun. That'll be a lot of fun.
Yes, that's not how I remember it. This is going to be very much like a Mandela effect episode.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, I love it.
Very much going to be something like that because, yeah.
Which, I remember when I first learned about Mandela effect, that it was named after the thought that the belief that people thought Nelson Mandela had died, but he hadn't. He was still alive at that time.
Right.
And he
Right.
then later became president of his country. I think it's president is the title, but I don't remember.
Yeah. Yeah. Mm-hmm.
And I remember going, I thought he died in prison. I'd be like, I'm one of those people. I just thought
You're
he
one of those
had died.
people.
Okay.
I mean, that's exactly what it
But
is.
like,
Yeah.
there is like, I don't know, like a period of time before he became president. Like, because when he became president, I remember having the thought, oh, I thought he had died. Which is kind of like
Right.
what happened this week with Angela Lansbury. Because like I was all sad because love. But my brother sends a text to the family that says, good news, bad news. Bad news is Angela Lansbury died. Good news is I didn't know she was still alive. I'm like, wow. Wow. How are we related?
I've had somebody say that to me. I had somebody say they were like, "Oh, I thought she was already dead," and I'm
What
like,
is wrong with you
"No."
people? Why are you trying to kill off our beloved icons before their time?
Right.
Wrong.
Yeah.
Wrong. Wrong. Anyway, join us next week as we dive into That's Not How I Remember It. An
Exactly.
interesting story in which we will all discuss Mandela effect, but who knows what else we might discuss. I don't know. Have to look into it.
Right.
What else is not how I remember it?
Right. All the things. So many things.
Anyway, until next time, you can find us all the things, all the places at.
Brunch and Judge.
And please remember to like, follow, subscribe, leave us comments on any of our YouTube videos. We'll reach back out to you. And
Right.
if you have any suggestions for our Wheel of Fate or stories you'd like for us to share or anything really, feel free to reach out to us at
brunchandjudge@gmail.com.
So until next time, keep on brunching.
And keep on judging.
Bye.
Bye.
Brunch and Judge. Brunch and Judge. We brunch and judge everything and give you opinions that nobody asked for.